Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I went from a crappy speaker, someone who would run back and forth to the stage because my body was full of nerves, who would have sweaty armpits while I was speaking, someone who would choke over my words and forget my lines, to 3 years later, a speaker that's full-time, getting paid, and doing TEDx speeches. Now, before I jump into this transformation, I want you to understand something. I by no means intend to use this channel to give you public speaking tips or to be a coach for you as a public speaker. But if that is something you are interested in, send me an email and we can discuss that and figure out something that works for you. Now, there's a video that I want to share with you in this video that I have talked about at all the speaking gigs that I have done over the past 3 years, and it's the video of my first speech. And the reason I want to share this is because we always have unrealistic expectations around what our success or our path to success should look like. Now take a look at this first speech. It'll give you a good idea of where I started and where I am at today. Without no further ado, watch the speech.
This is Shadi Pereira. I'm a 5th year student at East First Year University. And before I start, I'd like to say how proud I am to call myself a St. Mary's student, and I hope you all share that pride as well. Anyways, this summer, me, Shadi, and some of our friends started a community initiative called Pick Waste, where we go around the community every Saturday morning and we pick up garbage. The first cleanup was on July 1st, 2017, and to this day, we have completed 16 cleanups and filled over 100 bags of garbage and recycling. Now, I know some of you just cringe, right? Because it's not normal for teenagers to wake up early on a Saturday morning and go clean up the streets and the parks, right? Most of us choose to sleep in or play video games. But you see, we don't do this out of punishment. Like one man told us at the beach, he said, "Oh, how did you get this duty?" No. We do this because we seek to make a change. See, climate change. Climate change is a serious issue that can no longer go unheeded. It can't be trivialized any longer. And sometimes I look around, even reflect on my own behavior, and we're living on this planet maybe as if we have another one to go to, but we don't. So we need to learn how to take care of Mother Earth and protect it. And one last thing, so one of my favorite teachers in grade 12 taught me one thing that sticks with me today, and I know we've all heard it. And I was in class and he said, "You know, it's not about what you say, it's about what you do." I know we've all heard it before, right? You see it on your Twitter timelines all the time. People repost all of it, right? And I thought like that too. I was like, "Sir, I hear this all the time." But he took it a step further and he said, "It's not about what you do either. You have to look at where you spend your time and where you spend your money." And that really stuck with me, and I sat down and I thought, I said, "Sam, where am I spending my time and my money? Is it on the betterment for the future societies or other people? Look, if you don't know how to make change, but you really have a desire to, that is why we're here today. The biggest lie you've ever been told is that one person doesn't have the capacity to make change. History has shown us. Let me give you an example. William Wilberforce, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Gloria Steinberg, Lewis Tappan. I can go on and on. You all have the potential to make change. So come out with us today at the cafeteria, sign up, and let's all get involved, all right? Thank you for your time.
So now you know where I came from. You know, my realistic starting point. How bad I was, how unprofessional I was, how unpolished I was, how inexperienced I was. And most likely, if you're following my journey, you know where I am today. Today, I'm a full-time speaker. I travel around North America speaking to thousands of students. The past year alone, I spoke to over 30,000 teens. I was just named the youngest member of CAPS, the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and I do this full-time. And maybe you're watching thinking, "Wow, that's amazing. I really want to know how he did this so that you can also do it yourself." I'm not going to outline every single step in this video, but I'll share with you the most important buckets, the most important details. And if you take these and apply them in your own life, it'll make a huge difference. So from day one, when I decided I wanted to start speaking, the first thing I did was try to get as many free speaking engagements as I possibly could. After that first speech that you just watched, I called about 15 other principals and offered to volunteer my time to speak in front of as many students as they could put together in a gym, whether it was 15 or 500, to share my message and recruit volunteers for an organization called Pick Waste that I co-founded with Dylan. And I remember this speech was bad, but you should have seen my second or third speeches when I tried making 30-minute talks and memorizing them in my shower. I would literally bring my G-Shock because it's waterproof into the shower with me and practice timing my speeches. And if I forgot my lines, I would step out of the shower while the water was still running, open my laptop, read the lines, go back into the shower. And my parents were like, "What the heck are you doing in there for 30 minutes?" I literally practiced this for about 2 weeks before doing my first 30-minute talk, which was a total flop because 15 minutes in, I forgot my lines. That was the first lesson I learned. In speaking, you cannot memorize a script. You have to know your main stories and main points and be okay and flexible in the delivery of those stories. But the main first point that I want to get across to you is that you need to speak as often as you possibly can. The mechanics, the techniques, the little subconscious things, they don't matter until you can step in front of a stage and feel comfortable with yourself. Be okay that you might stutter over a word or two and continue with confidence. Or be okay that you might try to crack a joke and the audience doesn't laugh. And you just keep going with the same confidence, because things like that can crush you. Now, there's no point in me sharing all these techniques and strategies unless first you get comfortable. So again, step one, speak as much as you can. Realize that the speech itself, some main points, it shouldn't be memorized. It should be personal stories and content, not other people's lives or other people's stories or books that you've read. And it should be something that relates to the audience. It's not about you as a speaker, it's about the audience. And if you take those first things around the speech, you're already going to have an amazing start. Once you start to speak often and speak a lot, you're going to want to join clubs and associations that help you speak even more and refine your skills. One of the first clubs I joined was called Toastmasters. They meet twice a week to practice public speaking in a very low pressure environment. There's about 12 to 15 people who show up. And every week, if you want, you can get up and do a 10-minute talk, a 5-minute speech, a 7-minute speech. And it doesn't have to be the curriculum of the course. It can be your own specific content. And that's what I used Toastmasters for. Once I did all those free speeches, joined a few clubs, I then decided that speaking was going to be my full-time gig. I was going to do this full-time. And so the next major step for me was an investment. Like you, if you're in school, in high school, getting into university soon, you know you're going to have to spend about $15,000 to $20,000, maybe even more, to start your university degree. I then asked myself, well, okay, if I want to be a full-time youth speaker and I'm not planning to go to school right now, I should invest the same in my education, no matter how I get it, as much as a university student would. So I invested $15,000 in courses and coaches. I invested in a Josh Shipp course, Youth Speaker University. I invested in The Wealthy Speaker by Jane Atkinson. I bought multiple books. I went to 2 CAPS conferences. I flew to Vancouver. I flew to California. I invested in myself. And then everything I learned from these courses, I poured back into the first bucket, the speaking. Because the main product as a speaker is your speech. And if your speech sucks, nothing else really matters. So again, this is very broad. All these steps are very broad. But if you're trying to improve your public speaking, here's the most important things as a summary. 1, realize the more you speak, the better you'll get. Do it often. Do it as many times as you can. 2, I encourage you to join clubs. Join associations that give you the opportunity to speak even more and refine those skills and fine-tune those abilities that you're starting to develop. And then 3, if this is something you're serious about, get ready to make a big investment. Get ready to make a big investment, because this could change your life. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into myself, how I went from where I started back in 2017 to where I'm at today. And if you have any further questions, just send me an email at sam@samdema.com. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.